Hello and welcome to pmplounge.com. This is Lounge Fever, wherein we tackle your burning questions. Question today pertains to the requirements in the process, and these days we are talking about the scope management knowledge area. We've been discussing requirements, we've talked about functional requirements, non-functional requirements, and all other good stuff related to requirements. So I'll link to the entire playlist in the description below. The entire playlist is of scope management knowledge area, of course. So today we are talking about the flow of requirements, and what we want to discuss today is basically how requirements flow, right? There could be certain needs of the customers or the stakeholders. How does that translate into project requirements? What really happens, right? What is the process? How does this entire thing flow, and how does this entire thing work? So that is what we are looking into today, and this will also clear any doubt that you may have between what is the difference between business case and requirements document and stuff like that, right? So what is the difference? How do the needs of the stakeholders turn into uh, the project requirements is what we are talking into today. So let's get started. This will be a short video, by the way. So there are stakeholder needs, right? So in the initial stages, and some would even call it a pre-initial stage, right? The stakeholders are asked for their needs that a project can meet. So this, you need to understand that this could be something which might seem as an activity which is out of the scope of a project manager, right? A project manager might not be someone who goes out without a project being assigned, right? Who goes out and asks the stakeholders on what their needs are so that he or she can make a project out of it. So this obviously is something which might not be in the purview of a project manager, but there could be certain roles in the organization, and folks who are who have those roles are the ones responsible to go out and speak to the stakeholders and ask what their needs are. So let's say, let's talk about any any application that you see on your phone, right? Let's talk about Twitter. So when blogging was quite famous, when Twitter came around, and when Twitter came around, the stakeholder needs was to be able to write short bursts of information, right? 140 characters, that's it. That's all they wanted. They didn't want to post uh, large blobs of text, right? So Twitter kind of understood this requirement from the stakeholders, that we need a platform where people can, people don't really have to type in large blobs of text. All they need to do is type in 140 characters and give a status of what is going on, right? And share it with the world. It's pretty helpful, especially for the celebrities, the governments, right? The organizations, right? So that is a certain requirement that Twitter kind of understood, right? That this is one of the needs of the stakeholders, and this can be a need that a project can meet. And after that is when business case comes into the picture. So a project manager is definitely involved in business case in many organizations, right? I won't say most of the times, but in many organizations, it's the project manager's responsibility to even write a business case, right? So when when uh, when you're meeting the stakeholders, right, and when you're meeting their needs, it should result in some benefits for the company. We took the example of Twitter. Uh, Circulating a project around Twitter, designing a project around Twitter, and developing a platform, developing an app, developing a website, that should lead into certain benefits for the company doing it, right? The company Twitter, it should uh, have certain benefit to take up this project and develop this application or this tool, right? So this benefit goes in as a justification in the business case document to take up the project. So this benefit, right, whatever it is, it could be monetary, it could be, it could definitely, it has to definitely be monetary, but it could also be other benefits which might not always be non-monetary benefits, right? So when there are requirements, when the requirement of the stakeholders was from Twitter to come up with a certain application that can allow users to send out short bursts of information, short bursts of text, 140 characters itself. Twitter built a business case around it, and the business case would have definitely had certain monetary benefits for the organization to build an application like Twitter, and would have some other justification as well on why the company should take up a project like this and create it, right? The next comes requirements document. So requirements define how the needs will be met. So we first started off with the stakeholders. We understood what their needs was. Their needs were to develop a tool that can allow them to send out short bursts of information. A business case was developed around it. The business case mentioned how the company responsible for taking up that project to create Twitter can it can benefit from it. And then comes the requirements document, and that document basically talks about how the needs of the stakeholders will be met, how the company is going to design Twitter so that the stakeholders' needs of sending out short bursts of information can be met. So, you need a mobile application because short bursts of information can will gel really well with the with the mobile phones, right? Nobody wants to write large blobs of text on mobile phones, right? So you need a mobile application. So that kind of requirements is what goes in the requirements document. So this is how the requirements flow, right? You go to the stakeholders, you understand what their needs are, you you come back, you design a business case, you understand how your organization is going to benefit from meeting those needs, and then you, if that business case is approved, that is when you go in and create a requirements document where you mention how you're going to meet the needs of the stakeholders that you gathered in the first place. So that is all that we had. If you have any questions, feel free to drop in a comment and we'll definitely respond or try to make a video around it. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and check us out on our social media, facebook.com/pmblounge and twitter.com/pmblounge. And as always, do check out the website pmblounge.com, your number one free resource for PMP certification and project management industry information. Thank you.